I was standing in ankle-deep mud on my own land, looking at 38 stumps where my trees used to be, and the whole place reeked of fresh-cut pine and diesel, like somebody had just ripped the lungs out of my property when my phone buzzed with an email telling me I owed $15,000 to the HOA for illegally harvesting association timber, and that if I didn't pay by Friday, they'd start foreclosure on land. I bought cash on trees they stole from me. So yeah, that's how this started, and not the other way around. My name is Daniel Brooks. I'm 44. I run a little insurance outfit in Ashwood, Colorado. Nothing fancy, nothing big. Just enough to pay bills and put a little away. And the only dream I ever really had for myself was peace. 5 acres of pine on the edge of Cedar Ridge Preserve. A cabin I could build with my own hands. Drink coffee on my porch in the morning and hear wind in the trees instead of traffic. And leaf blowers, you know what I mean? That quiet you feel in your bones, like you finally made it. I wasn't buying trouble. I wasn't out here trying to pick a fight with anybody, and I definitely wasn't looking to go to war with an HOA. I just thought I was buying a piece of Colorado that nobody could touch. The first sign it wasn't going to be that simple was a woman named Valerie Pierce. Valerie is one of those people who acts like she was elected president of the United States, when really she just runs a neighborhood board with a printer and some clipboards. She's president of what they call the Cedar Ridge Property Standards Board, which sounds like a landscaping committee until you actually deal with them. The first time I met her, she banged on my door at 6:12 in the morning like police, and when I opened up in sweatpants, she didn't even say good morning. She just pointed her pen at my truck and said, "This vehicle is not approved for exterior storage. You're already in violation. That's a $200 fine, and if you start fighting us, you will regret it." No smile, no kidding, just straight-up threat at sunrise. I honestly thought she was bluffing. I really did. I figured fine. Whatever pay the $200 be done. Because I'm thinking I'm new here. I'm not trying to start drama with a woman who lives for drama. That was me being naive. Within 2 weeks, she had plastered my mailbox with these bright orange violation stickers so loud you could see them from space. She'd sent certified letters accusing me of unauthorized external modification because I stacked cabin lumber on my own dirt, and I started getting these creepy zoomed-in photos in my email from compliance@cedarridgeofficial.com. Mail to compliance@cedarridgeofficial.com, showing my ladder, my driveway, my fence with red circles, like I'm under surveillance by federal agents. The fines jumped from $200 to $600 to final notice. Legal recovery may be pursued. And every one of them had this same line at the bottom, like a gun to the head. Failure to comply may result in foreclosure action. Foreclosure, like they could just take my place if I didn't pay a couple fake tickets about a truck in my driveway. I was annoyed. Yeah, but I still thought this was just a bossy neighbor with too much free time, until I drove out to my land one Sunday afternoon and almost threw up. The flattest part of my lot, the spot I'd flagged for the cabin, was stripped. And I don't mean a couple fallen branches. I mean gone, clean cut, hauled out by heavy equipment. You could see the tire ruts from the skidders. You could smell raw sap like an open wound. My north fence line had been peeled back like a gate so trucks could drive through, and my trail cam was dangling by the wire because somebody had cut the cable and yanked the memory card. This wasn't teenagers. This wasn't some misunderstanding about property lines. This was organized. I counted 38 stumps, 38 trees I'd already planned around, already named in my head, gone in a weekend. And then, same day, that lovely email from Valerie saying I owed $15,000 in remediation fees for removing association conservation timber and that the board has already voted on escalation, including foreclosure. I remember just standing there in the mud thinking, wow, they didn't just rob me. They robbed me, and then sent me an invoice for it. Like I'm supposed to thank them for the service. That was the moment I stopped treating this like neighbor drama. I went home, put everything on my kitchen table, like evidence in a case file, my deed with my name on it. In black and white, the county survey with GPS coordinates proving the HOA doesn't own 1 inch of my trees. The title chain going back to 1951 before Cedar Ridge even existed. Photos of the trees standing on Friday. Photos of the stumps on Sunday. Screenshots of every threat she'd sent, including the line, "People lose their homes fighting us." And I called someone I work with sometimes for insurance cases. This attorney named Megan Hartley, and Megan goes without even saying hello. Do not talk to her alone, record everything, and from this second forward, this is not civil. This is criminal. And Megan was right on time too, because guess who rolled up my driveway that afternoon? Valerie, in a black BMW with 2 guys in plain black jackets, who looked like mall security trying to cosplay federal enforcement. She didn't even wait for me to invite her up. She just started in loud, so the neighbors could hear. "We need to discuss your theft of association resources," and I held up my phone and said, "You're being recorded," and she gave me that tight HOA smile, like that's cute. She goes, "You illegally logged protected timber. You damaged common fencing. You owe $15,000 for emergency remediation. You will attend a compliance session tonight at 7 p.m. And if you refuse, we will move forward with foreclosure. People do lose their homes over this." She said it calm, like she's reminding me trash day is Thursday. Let me tell you the feeling that hits your stomach right there, because it's important. It's like shame and rage at the same time. Shame because your brain goes, "Oh my God, could I really lose this? Is she actually allowed to do that?" And rage because deep down, you know it's blackmail, dressed up like policy. So 7 p.m. comes. I'm supposed to show up alone to her compliance session, so she can bully me in a back room. Yeah, that didn't happen. I brought Thomas from 2 houses down. Quiet guy carpenter. One of those men who can build you a staircase out of a fallen tree. And I brought Carla from across the street, who has 0 fear and a memory like a tape recorder, because both of them had stories about Valerie. And we walked into the little HOA office/mail room, and it was literally staged like court. Valerie at a folding table like a judge, board members, fanned out like jurors, a stack of papers in front of her that said, "Violation report." Brooks and 2 of her security guys standing behind me like I'm already guilty. They told me to sit in the middle so the membership could review my behavior. I didn't sit. I held up my phone so everybody could see I was live streaming, and I said slow and steady so the mic would catch every word. "My name is Daniel Brooks. I own Parcel 17B outright. Here is my deed, and here is the county survey proving this land is private, not common area. Here are pictures of my trees standing on Friday. Here are pictures of your hired guys cutting my fence and clearing truck paths. Here is an invoice from Ashwood Timber for logs matching my trees dated the day after you cut them. And here are your emails threatening foreclosure if I don't pay you $15,000 for theft you committed." The whole room shifted on its axis. One of the board dudes literally slid his chair away from Valerie like she had started to smoke. A woman standing in the back just blurted, "Wait, are you telling me they stole your trees and then billed you for it?" And I said, "That's exactly what I'm telling you." And that was it. That was the crack, because people had been scared of her for years. She'd been running around saying, "The board can make you disappear from this subdivision. We've done it before." She'd told one mom she'd call Child Protective Services if her kids' bikes were left out again. She'd fined an elderly couple $1,200 over a bird feeder, and everybody thought, well, I better just pay because I can't afford to lose my house. Hearing someone else stand there with proof made something snap. Valerie panicked. She slammed this tiny gavel like she's Judge Judy and yelled, "This meeting is now closed. Board session, security. Remove Mr. Brooks for disruptive behavior." And her rent-a-cop actually started walking toward me like he was going to escort me out of a room I technically pay for. And that's when the door opened again, and Megan walked in with 2 sheriff's deputies. Not private security, not HOA muscle actual law. Megan didn't raise her voice. She didn't posture. She just pointed at Valerie and said, "Officers, please note, Ms. Pierce is demanding payment in exchange for not pursuing foreclosure on property she does not control. We're preserving this as evidence of extortion and criminal trespass." And you could feel it, like you could feel fear leave the room like air finally moving in a house that's been sealed too long. People started talking, like really talking. Carla goes, "She told us we'd be forced out if we didn't repaint our door the color she wanted." Thomas goes, "She said she could ruin my credit if I didn't pay a landscaping fee for work they never did." A man in the hallway said, "She threatened to have my wife's car towed every day until we learned respect." And the sheriff's deputies are hearing all of this, and they're writing, and they're looking at each other like this is not just HOA drama. This is a shakedown operation. The part that still blows my mind is what came after. When the county, and then the state, dug into her files, it turned out Valerie wasn't just terrorizing people over trash cans. She had spreadsheets. I'm talking actual spreadsheets labeling homeowners elderly, pressure viable, behind on mortgage, high leverage, spouse recently laid off, likely to fold. She had pre-filled quit-claim deeds with sale prices way under market. She had emails to a Denver developer talking about acquiring distressed parcels for consolidation, which is pretty language for, we break them, we get them cheap, we flip the land. My 5 acres and my trees and my cabin site were already on her list. So the cops didn't just take a report. The State Economic Crimes Unit came to the next meeting. They walked in during emergency governance review in front of half the subdivision lawn chairs. In the hallway, people FaceTiming their cousins, and they said, "Valerie Pierce, you're coming with us." And she tried that HOA voice. "This is harassment, my attorney will." And they cuffed her calmly businesslike and walked her out past the same folks she'd been threatening for years. People didn't cheer. It wasn't like a movie. It was quieter than that. A couple people cried. And I don't mean sad tears. I mean this low, shaking relief you hear when your body finally believes you're safe. The board panicked and suspended her on the spot. Then they voted me in as interim president, which, believe me, was not on my bingo card. But I said yes for one reason, and I said it in front of everybody. All foreclosure threats are void. All fines are frozen. Nobody in Cedar Ridge is losing their home this week. And here's where I'm going to be real with you, because this is the part that still keeps me up. I thought Valerie was the whole problem. Turns out Valerie was just the mouth. Behind her was an actual pipeline feeding properties, not just mine, not just 1 or 2, to a developer who'd already drafted paperwork to scoop up lots from non-compliant owners. And if I hadn't caught them when I did, my land would have been gone by the end of the month, and people would have said, well, I guess he couldn't keep up with the HOA rules, and that lie would have been the whole story. So I need you to tell me what you think, because I'm honestly curious where normal people land on this. Are HOAs about keeping neighborhoods clean, or are they legalized extortion with matching polos? Is this protection of property values, or is this just a polite word for organized pressure to make regular people give up land so someone richer can consolidate it? Did you think I crossed a line going live on my phone and blasting her in public, or do you think that's literally the only reason I'm not the one in cuffs right now? Drop it in the comments with where you're watching from and what you've seen. Because if somebody with a clipboard ever told you they could take your house over a lawn chair or a truck in the driveway, I want to hear that story too, and I guarantee you, you're not the only one.